for those on the stream.
We are in game one, guys, here at the moment. We have ACCM versus BacT. Going to be, well, ACCM and BacT versus Tim+Lyx. Going to be a fantastic game here today. We have the Forgotten Civs going up against the classic AOC Civs. I'm here with Zach, better known as ZeroEmpires. How you doing?
Hey, man. I'm so excited for these games. There's going to be just so different seeing 2v2 compared to like a 1v1 situation. This is the first 2v2 tournament we've had, and I'm expecting great things from these players as well. Obviously, kicking things off with the Asian players today, Tim+Lyx from China, BacT and ACCM, both from Vietnam, and all of them very renowned and respected players as well. So, real quick here, I'm just going to make sure that the overlay is all good. Let's go ahead and introduce the players. So, for Team BacT and ACCM, we have BacT in the blue. He's playing as the Malay here. And up to the, down to the south of the map in the purple, his teammate ACCM playing as the Berbers. These guys are playing as the new civilizations. And Turk, I'll let you introduce the other team.
Representing the old civilization, we have two of my favorite players, actually, especially across the board at the moment. We have Lyx playing in the teal as the Persians. His partner for this game going to be Tim, very well-renowned player, known for his defensive play styles, but highly aggressive pushes when he wants to. He's going to be Tim playing in the green as the Mongols, an AOC classic.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised, actually, to see the Mongols and Persians picked up here instead of, for example, the Mayans or the Aztecs or the Huns, which tend to be the bread and butter of AOC. So nice that they've gone with, I wouldn't say it's completely unorthodox. I mean, the Mongols and the Persians are incredibly strong civs as well, but it's nice that they've not just taken, I guess, the super obvious choices. But that could also be something to do with the map, which is, of course, Hideout. And oh wow, I've just noticed at the top of the map here, BacT attempting to steal a boar from Lyx. Both of his boar spawning outside of his walls here. Fortunately for Lyx, that scout was unable to bring the boar home. Lyx now bringing down BacT's scout as it's quite low. And I wonder if Lyx will be interested in maybe stealing BacT, because there is a boar here outside of BacT's palisade as well. So we'll see if Lyx is interested in getting some petty revenge. Oh, he is. Straight away, no hesitation. I love it.
Nah, this is exactly what it's all about. Gonna lose it there by looks of things, might double back for it. But a thing to note as well, if you are new for Forgotten Empires in general, boars do more damage against scout cavalry at the moment. So laming is actually a much more active task. So you have to be very careful with that one overall. And it's taking a lot more skill actually to get those boars back without losing your scout cavalry now.
Yeah, BacT not having a good start at all. Getting a little distracted, I think. Losing a villager as he tried to bring his other boar in. She's just dead there. And he did that without loom, so could be a problem. Oh no, BacT, get back! Oh, wow. BacT, a little bit of a messy start, nearly losing a second villager there. He's got to be super careful without loom here. It seems like there might be a little bit of lag in this game, given that Tim+Lyx are from China, and sometimes they can introduce a little bit of latency. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about the map before we got distracted by that boar stealing. Hideout is the map, and maybe that also influences the civ choices, or it certainly does influence the civ choices here. I do like this map a lot. It means, since that there's palisade walls instead of stone walls like you'd find on Arena, it does mean that you see some earlier castle age aggression. But typically we'll see a fast castle from all of these players with action starting in the castle age, and that's when it gets really interesting. Especially since now it's a 2v2, I do wonder if one team might try and wall off one side of the map and try and focus all of their efforts on both sides, or if it's going to play out more like a two simultaneous 1v1s. It's a much more closed map compared to something like Arabia, but it's sort of in between Arabia and Arena, and players shouldn't feel too safe behind these palisades, that's for sure.
No, you're exactly right. For a long time, this map was basically referred to as reverse arena, just moving from essentially the inside of the map out. And of course, giving you that means they will be able to wall off the side. So if the game does go late, they can actually transition into full market transition, which means they can keep those gold units going. So basically, any civ that's really harsh on the gold units, they don't fall behind as easy if you do manage to get that map wall off going. But I agree, the Civ choice is really, really interesting for this. Mongols, very, very strong Civ overall. Persians, again, very, very strong Civ. But I think in team games, these are definitely two of the strongest Civs you're going to see working together. Going from the 1v1 aspect, you don't see these Civs quite so much. In team games, they seem to be getting a bit more common, though, which I'm loving at the moment, because any kind of mix-up from the norm is fantastic.
Yeah, of course, that's one of the big things about now having this 2v2 setup instead of a 1v1, which we've seen before, and that is the fact that players will be able to trade. Players will have bigger economies as a result of that, and we might start to see some of those more expensive units coming out as well, especially from the rise of the Raja civilizations, where we could see some battle elephants, for example. So we're going to have to see if we see them. They're a lot more viable now in 2v2 versus 1v1, and yeah, I mean, obviously time will tell. First thing I'm really noticing here is Lyx on the left side. He's taking a huge wall off here. And this is exactly what we were talking about right at the start of this game. Will one of the teams try and wall off one side of the map and basically force the aggression on the other side, or focus their attention? Very common in team games to try and get that team wall going, and the Chinese players here, no surprise really, it is in their playstyle to do this, and Lyx starting it off very early on, in fact.
Yeah, going to put his team at a really good advantage there, because it means all the raiding on the left side of the map here going to be very well delayed, even if it does happen early on. Wouldn't be honestly surprised to see some fast castles and things going down in this 2v2s. If you can get the fast castle completed, it is just such a strong strategy to run with. And it looks like we've actually got BacT slewing in some deers as well, so he is really going hard on it, the eco at the moment, and doing a really good job to actually get them there as well.
Yeah, Tim, I think, is probably furthest ahead right now. Not just because of his score, which is way ahead of everyone else, probably due to scouting. If you look at Tim's scouting, he has done a complete lap of the map. But Tim already has finished up luring his deer in. They were quite close to his mill, so he's got them close by and he's taken them all already. And he's on the way up to fuel now. 3 villages on gold. It's clearly going to be a pretty standard fast castle. But one thing, while we still have the chance to talk about the maps and before any action really starts getting going here, the map itself, it's, as you said, inverse arena, and that means that over time players will be chopping this wood towards each other. And bear in mind that in the expansions you only need an onager to cut through these trees. So when we get to the Imperial Age, we could potentially see some kind of backstabs coming in and some through the center of the map by cutting away through with those onagers.
I'm looking forward to that like you won't believe. I really hope it's something we see, because it takes me back to the Black Forest days, cutting around behind enemies with siege awnings. I think everyone in the chat can relate to that when you first started playing Age. Your big pockets that you send your huge army through just straight into your opponent's eco. The best feeling you'd get in games, just catching your opponent completely unaware.
Yeah, it's so fun, and they've made it that much easier with the expansions now as well. So BacT on this left side, 1 HP on his scout, no problem. Takes out Lyx's scout. Since he was Feudal Age first, Lyx is still in the Dark Age. He did get that +2 attack, allowing him to kill the scout cavalry, keeping his own alive. Very calculated play there by BacT. And he does, of course, scout this wall and see what's going on. Lyx going to be a little slower to Feudal, as well as Tim, actually. Both of them a little slower to the Feudal Age. I would add BacT here playing as the Malay. Of course, he does upgrade to the next stage 80% faster. And as a result, he was actually able to reach the Feudal Age first. And he should probably be the first to the Castle Age as well, even if he's not the first to actually click the upgrade button. Turns out he actually is the first player to click up as well. So BacT's going to have a lightning fast castle time here. The question is, will he boom? Will he go put a monastery down and try and grab some relics? Or will he try and get aggressive onto this palisade wall and try and catch Lyx off guard a little bit?
Yeah, you're exactly right. He's got a whole range of options there, and that 80% faster advancing, just giving him a huge bonus there in general. Just as a quick overview as well, I think I should just go through a couple of the bonuses and the new civs for the people who aren't as competent with them. Berbers, straight off the bat, as soon as they hit Castle Age, they're going to have 20% cheaper stable units, which is a huge bonus, and it seems a bit strong. In the end of the day, though, in Imperial, they don't actually get the Paladin upgrade, though, so it balances out quite well. The Melee, of course, as well, going to have that faster advancing time, mostly based towards water warfare as far as this, but just a very strong eco civ in general, so they generally perform quite well too.
Yeah, the Malay for sure. I mean, even though they're a naval civ, they have a great eco bonus in their upgrade time speed, but they're also just very strong on land also. I mean, In 1v1, I think more than in a team game, though. Because in a 1v1, you run out of gold a lot quicker. In which case, the forced levy technology, which gives them no gold cost on their two-handed swordsman, that's really valuable. But in a team game...
That's a huge one.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. In a team game, is that as valuable when you've got trade going? You know, it's unlikely that you're going to need that extra gold in the late game. So we will see. But, yeah, I feel like the melee not going to be as strong in a team game. However, they've still taken the melee here over the other civs which were available in the out of the new civ pool. So they obviously think there's something going for them here. As we see BacT preparing for an attack on this left flank. He's got his monastery here, a monk is on the way out. He's got a mangonel on the way out as well. And, you know, I remember watching the finals, or sorry, not the finals, but the run up to the finals between Doubt and BacT in EGM2, and BacT has got this very aggressive playstyle in these civs and on these expansions, and I think that's why he's chosen the melee here, because he wants to be quick, he wants to be fast, and he wants to try and catch his opponent out with this high aggressive play, and he's going to do that immediately by stopping Lyx from continuing his wall off, going for the conversion on the villager. Of course he gets it.
That's fantastic. I love seeing it convert like that so early in the game. The good news is that we're actually seeing a different playstyle here from Tim as well, who's actually pushing in against ACCM at the moment. He's got his forward siege workshop up as well, up in a crossbow, so it looks like we are seeing some aggression from both sides at the moment.
Yeah, and I've noticed as well, I like this from Tim and Lyx. They've got the complete side, or both sides of the map completely walled off until BacT comes through with his wrecking ball, that is, anyway. But, you know, it shows that Lyx and Tim, they want that safety net of having the wall off. Down in the south, looks like Tim's getting accosted by a wolf. I think he's going to be fine. But more importantly, BacT here on the top side, he's making his way through with those monks and mangonels. This could be incredibly hard to deal with. And the question is, will Lyx be able to defend this on his own, or will he need the help of Tim, who is actually in the opposite side of the map right now?
Yeah, so Lyx straight away, he's gone for his 2 TC, so he's trying to boom up a little bit behind this, hasn't gone for the full 3 TC boom, is getting some scout cavalry out, so he will be able to deal with those monks. Problem is, though, BacT's already thought of this, he's got some spears there, 3 spears, more than enough to deal with about 3 to 5 scouts, really, so he's got to be very careful to choose his engagements here, got to be very careful he doesn't lose units to converts as well, and with that mangonel, he's actually going to be able to put some good pressure onto the TC.
Yeah, I like that BacT is coming forward. He's outpost rushing here just to get himself a little bit of vision. If we looked at BacT's line of sight, he's got great vision on what's going on up over at Lyx's side of the map. And he's even used his scout here to come in and see what's happening. Immediately, Lyx losing 1 villager. He does look wide open to this, and BacT with another outpost here just to get even more vision, because why not? Lyx with the defensive monastery and the scouts, as you said. But he has to be very careful. This is so easy for BacT to clean up with these 3 spears. I also want to add, though, at the other side of the map, we shouldn't focus entirely on the north, because ACCM is having a hard time as well. He's got his 3 TCs up. They're more defensive, for defensive purposes at this stage. And the knights from Lyx actually coming down here to support him. But I don't think Lyx is going to be able to send any more knights over, as at the top side, he sends his scouts in. Will he be able to clean this up? It's unlikely, isn't it? Wow, 2 conversions.
Oh, this is absolutely crazy right now. Just a gank from just Tim and Lyx at the moment. Really well planned as a team. He knew it was open. The communication was good. They got some knights in there. Knights probably one of the biggest threats to villagers you will see in this game, just because they can sit under TCs. They don't care too much. They've got that bulk HP. Once you get your armor upgrades under them, just towers, TCs, no worries. They'll just go for villagers. And really, that's where it hurts overall.
Yeah, did a little bit of raiding onto ACCM in the south, but I am worried for Lyx back at home, though, here. He's trying to get a siege workshop up, he's decided against it, and BacT's now going to be able to raid with those scout cavalry as well. Worrying stuff for Lyx, because his TC is on fire, and these mangonels are not going to be letting up. Tim needs to help out, I feel, here, otherwise Lyx could be... this could be end game for him right now, especially if BacT can try and deny this siege workshop here. So we're going to have a save and restore.
All right, ready to load up the next game?
All right.
Or I should say the continuation of the first game?
Yeah, continuation of the first game. All right, I've got it.
Let me know when you are go.
Yeah, in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so there you go. I feel like it's like a bit of base race at the moment with Tim doing a lot of damage to ACCM. However, if you look at the other side of the map, like, okay, so ACCM, he's defended quite well for now. He took some damage, but it's not like Tim is taking down his TCs at this stage. At the north side, Lyx, he is in big trouble. His TC is under heavy fire. There's a lot of monks here. There's scouts. There's spearmen. It's going to be so hard to push into this, whatever he does. I think he needs the help of Tim, as right now his villagers are running away, maybe looking to find a new life somewhere, or, start a new life somewhere.
I swear, this is me whenever I play a team game in general. Just run across the map, build skirmishes until the game ends, and somehow you win. No idea how that works, but you're exactly right over here. There's just so many issues for Lyx in general. ACCM playing a fantastic game there. The recovery really, really strong. No doubt that BacT was in the position to actually give him the help there. But I wouldn't be surprised to see if ACCM actually said, just put the pressure back on Lyx, keep it up, and they will actually be forced out of here eventually, because Lyx isn't going to be able to come with the support. And this is the reason I'm loving seeing so many 2v2s and team games at the moment. It's a completely different playstyle. There's so much more to weigh up there and really try and figure out.
Yeah, for sure. Lyx can actually keep his TC alive. I'm surprised at that. BacT moving away slightly, bringing the mangonels back in. I don't know why he actually stopped attacking. He's got to be careful, though, because Lyx does have a mangonel of his own to defend this TC here as well. So BacT doesn't want to end up getting, like, traded 2 for 1 or something. Seriously, though, looking very scary for Lyx right now. A lot of idle villagers as they sit in the TC. Obviously, the repairs coming in, all these idle farms. Not a lot going on there. Tim, though, over at BacT's base, he is looking for the counter-attack, and BacT, of course, not really going to have anything at home because all of his focus is on Lyx's side of the map right now. So with Tim coming in at the back here, breaking down the palisade wall, BacT might be in for shock, as these villagers are going to go down pretty quickly if these crossbows do break through.
Yeah, he hasn't gone for any defensive TCs as well, has invested entirely in that military force, and done a good job of it as well, because he has managed to catch Lyx completely off guard. But if Tim can get in at the moment, it means he's going to have free line of just getting in there, straight beeline it to the wood line, get some villager kills, knock him off gold altogether, and really that'll actually help take the pressure off Lyx as well, even though at the moment it's looking like the damage might be done.
Yeah, the damage is definitely being done. Look at Lyx, he's losing villagers. I mean, seriously though, it's a good job this is a Persian TC with 4,800 HP. Otherwise it would have been gone long ago. And BacT here, with his forward siege workshop as well, just spamming out rams, just trying to bring it down. But Lyx, I don't know, man, he's got like no wood left at all. He's losing so many vills under here. This is getting painful right now. His population is at 43, whilst BacT is at 59. Quite a big difference. But BacT, oh, great mangonel shot onto those crossbows. Lovely stuff. That's how you defend.
Exactly. One mangonel in a good place there. It's really hard to micro against a mangonel if you're not that compensate. I guess you overcompensate, and that's what really hurts. We can see ACCM actually coming through as well now, getting the double convert there, moving in with his own mangonel, so it looks like he's ready to start getting aggressive as well.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That was a great defense. Tim could have done a lot of damage there, but BacT only lost like maybe 1 or 2 villagers. That was very well done, and the defense is strong. The question is, I mean, what is Tim doing right now? Because his teammate is dying, or at least, being extremely harassed to the point where he can't really build up his economy or anything. Tim's going to have to try and do something to help out and bring this game back under control for the Chinese team. He's actually adding in a 4th TC on the wood line, and it looks like, I mean, the pressure's kind of been lifted a little bit over at ACCM and BacT's base right now. ACCM going for a castle here on the left side, or the south side of his base. It's going to be difficult for Tim to do much damage there. I think maybe Tim is looking for the Imperial Age upgrade, having a strong economy, and then he's hoping to push BacT away in sort of like one fell swoop, just kind of clean him up in one push.
Yeah, I think you've nailed the idea there, because he did add in that 4th TC, so he is looking to boom up his eco, hopefully get enough eco going that he can just steamroll his opponents out. But at the moment, ACCM really showing his stars at the moment just by actually getting back into score lead at the moment after the huge harassment he had there at the start with the knights and the crossbows. So just kudos for him for getting back into this one so well. And it looks like he's going to be in a position there where if Tim does up, ACCM's going to be able to hold it off.
Yeah, ACCM, not far from Imperial actually, about to click up now. He will be faster than Tim to the Imperial Age, but he is only on 3 TCs, so Tim should have a bit of a bigger economy by the time he does reach Imp. Amazingly though, over at Lyx's base, this TC is still alive, but there's so many defensive towers. Lyx has been pushed away from his stone, which is why he sent the villagers over to Tim's side of the map, looking for the stone income there to get a castle, and I think he's building that castle... Oh, wait, no, maybe not, actually. I thought he was going to go for a castle, but I guess it's for the watchtowers, which he's built. He's actually built, like, 5 watchtowers. That's kind of expensive. Oh, no.
Oh, just...
The monks.
Right now, BacT moving forward as well. Looks like he's going to try and get the converts there, put some pressure on Tim as well. Tim actually going to have a little bit of an issue to deal with this one as well.
Yeah, Lyx, 3 converted villagers. 3 villas for BacT. What's he going to do next? I bet he's going to build a siege workshop. Yep, there you go. Siege Workshop coming up from BacT. That's just a BacT thing right there. And Lyx having to delete his villagers. He's been pushed off of stone completely. And what does Tim have to defend? These guys are completely unprepared for this. Tim's built his military production buildings so far away from his base, he wasn't prepared for an attack from the back. Or from the BacT, I guess. And look at that castle drop. Oh my god, BacT. Wow. Just such a ballsy player. It's just like, yeah, let me just drop a castle in your economy.
The 4-villager castle drop in the middle of the base.
Oh.
This is fantastic.
Not only with his own villagers, with Lyx's converted villagers as well. And Tim has no defense. He's got nothing here. Wow, the Vietnamese team looking super strong right now. Tim going to try and put his own castle up here as well. And I think he's going to be able to get that up first, but not if BacT can get some conversions and get those villagers working on his castle instead.
If he can get those mangonels in there, it's just going to hurt those villagers. Like, we are going to see some serious loss at the moment. All his eco bonus going to get taken down quite quickly. Got the villager on the repairs there of the mangonel as well, so he can sit under it. And look at that. Tim just garrisoning the villagers to defend them there. Really strong play from both players. Even another 2.
Yeah,
Oh.
the mangonels, man. They're coming in. BacT is a savage, indeed, and I think he's not going to get his castle up, though. It was a nice try, I'll give him that, but his castle, 72% right now, and of course, the focus from Tim's castle is going to be on those villagers to stop that castle from BacT coming up. That was a ballsy play. It didn't work out in the end. He's going to try anyway, and he's keeping that pressure on. Obviously, at Lyx's base, the pressure has been lifted a little bit, and this has given Lyx some room to breathe and to expand. I definitely wouldn't count the Chinese team out at this stage, but it does look pretty good for the ACCM and BacT team at the moment, as ACCM starts on the Camel Archers, which is a great counter to those Mongol Mangadai as well. So not only are they playing well, but they actually have the counter units to play with and to force the fights with also.
Yeah, this is going to be a real uphill battle now for Tim and Lyx. It's just, the offensive play by BacT at the moment has just been very impressive. He hasn't only managed to just get in and ruin one player's economy, he's managed to completely pull Tim off all of his resource there, force the castle up at base as well. No doubt Tim did want to get aggressive with that castle, just with the way he's been playing this game thus far. So seeing ACM be able to push up against Tim's front line as well now, after seeing that economy be harassed so badly by BacT, I don't think he's going to have much to actually come back at this with.
Yeah, I've got no surprise, really, that Tim is a little bit later to the Imperial Age than ACCM here. Obviously, quite a bit of eco disruption. ACCM on the south side coming in with 2 trebs to take down Tim's castle. And Tim is starting on Mangadai production, which is what you do as the Mongols. But the Mangadai are countered hard by these Camel Archers. These Camel Archers, of course, have an attack bonus against other cavalry archers, and that means Mangadai. So this is going to be real tough for Tim to hold. Not only that, but he's behind in the Treb War, and he's got BacT to deal with as well before he can even go and take out ACCM down here. So scary times for the Chinese team at the moment, as BacT and ACCM are looking strong. No pressure on them, as they're free to boom and do what they like back at home.
Yeah, BacT's gone up with multiple TCs as well, so he has got a strong eco behind this as well. It's not all push at the moment, which is probably the biggest thing to take from it. Lyx is starting to get a couple of cavalry out in the field. He's got some knights, he's got a couple of camels out, so he's at least going to be able to start to help out his opponent, especially with the amount of monks and just mangonels and siege generally out on the field. But we've got BacT pushing in again. Looks like he's going to get aggressive versus that TC in the back there, and I'm not too sure as much Tim can do, because he needs to have those Mangadai out, and it looks like they've actually been pushed off the front line there already.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there's Mangadai immediately going back as the castle goes down, but BacT is still taking out Tim's base. This TC right here under fire from 3 mangonels. Tim's trying to send the Mangadai over, but they're just getting converted. He's even gone as far as to convert the blacksmith now as well. BacT here really going all out on these monks. I love it. I love it. Lyx coming in now, though, with some knights to try and help his ally out a little bit. BacT still going for the conversions, and this TC, I mean, I wonder if it's going to go down. Looks like Tim here using his trebuchet to snipe those mangonels. That was nicely played.
Oh, got another one there as well. Very well played overall. Doesn't have the Persian town center, so sadly no HP bonus there. But it looks like ACCM moving in with these guys at the moment. Just a couple of trebs there. Gonna be able to take that castle down very quickly. And probably the biggest thing we all know when playing Mongols, you need those castles up. Those Mangadai are pretty much your lifeline to the entire game. If you lose them and can't get any castles up, you're in just a big spot of trouble.
Yeah, exactly. You need the Mangadai, and for the Mangadai, you need the castles. I mean, the problem is here, the Mangadai are not going to be effective versus the army of ACCM, but they're still the go-to unit for the Mongols anyway, because even without fighting this Berber army, the Mangadai can still do a lot of damage. They can go on the flank, for example. They could try and raid. They could fight versus BacT instead. So, yeah, it's real tough. It's good to see the Mangadai coming out, but right now a lot of upgrades are missing. He doesn't have any defense upgrades. He doesn't have the elite upgrade. And those Berbers, camel archers, are much more upgraded at this stage, with the elite upgrade being done, +2 defense. Not only that, they are a natural counter as well. So right now, ACCM going to town on Tim's base. TC is dropping here, and I'm really worried for Tim, and I'm really worried for Lyx, because this does not look promising at this stage of the game.
It looks like we do have Lyx moving forward with a couple of villages, though, a couple of knights, trying to get in there and do some harass against BacT, try and even the playing field there a little bit. However, we can see BacT already going up with the defensive castle. His wall off there is actually walling off the map as well. He's going to have none of this.
Yeah, he's going to make sure that's locked down, because these guys, you know, they're fully focused on this right side now. They want to take out Tim. They've done enough economic damage to Lyx in the early game, or like the early Castle Age, that focusing down on Tim now is the way to go, and that's certainly working out. Tim has got a lot of villagers in here, very exposed, really no defense for them. ACCM dropping a castle on Tim's wall as well, and that's just ACCM and BacT for you. Yeah, they're just going to drop all those forward castles. Why not?
Well, they're just such a good pushing tool. It doesn't get utilized enough. So when you've got the stone there to be able to do it, dropping something on the front there, it basically cements this as your area. Because you've got somewhere to build units from. You can build buildings up around it, and you're not worried about getting harassed. It's not just a small base that can get pushed back. So it's a really good idea for just concreting in your little dominance over the area, holding that one in, and then making sure your opponent can't easily push back through it.
Yeah, exactly. It's really nice to drop those forward castles down and just claim it as your own, I guess. What's really funny to me is that BacT is still in the Castle Age, and he shows no signs of upgrading to Imperial. He's just all in on this Castle Age aggression. It's really up to ACCM to do the legwork now, because BacT has already set ACCM up for success, basically. BacT went in the Castle Age. He committed everything to that Castle Age push. It worked out really well, and now ACCM can come and mop the floor and clean up the rest, you know? So that's interesting, because it does give Lyx and Tim some opportunity, as Lyx is now Imperial before BacT is. Considering how much eco damage BacT did do to Lyx in the early game, that's quite impressive. And he's got a little pocket of economy over on that right side that ACCM has completely missed so far. So with the Cavalier upgrade coming in for Lyx, maybe he could do something. That's on 90% right now. Combined with the elite Mangadai from Tim, this could work out well. I think this Cavalier could break the line of those camel archers, but ACCM's one step ahead of them. He's already got the heavy camel done, and he's just going full counter units here. This is going to work really well for him.
Nah, this is just fantastic play. They've both read the game so well. They've obviously come in with a plan. They knew what they were going to be doing. BacT put on that early pressure. Lyx boomed up into it, so when BacT hit his low, basically ACM started to peak, and because of that, they've just timed everything so well. Looks like we are about to see a big just fight in the front here. This is probably going to be the game-deciding fight here. We've got the trebuchets working away at that castle, so they're going to actually force the engagement there very well. Good news is as well for BacT and ACCM. BacT already has some markets up, so they look like they're going to be in a good position to actually recover from this. even if they do lose the fight.
Yeah, they'll just get trade going. But, I mean, they've disrupted Tim so much anyway. I don't think, even if they lost this fight, I think the damage is already done. Meanwhile, Lyx going to lose his army on the left side. Obviously, Tim cannot stand toe-to-toe with those camel archers. And the Chinese team here going to call it. They're calling GG. And that was a great game from BacT and ACCM. Just the aggression from BacT on the left side was so good. Very, very effective. And, I mean, really, you have to compare how much damage did BacT do to Lyx versus how much damage Tim did to ACCM down here. Clearly, that was way in favor of BacT and ACCM. ACCM defended well. BacT did a lot of damage. And I don't think that Tim and Lyx could really recover from that in the long run. Obviously, ACCM, as I said, was set up for success, and he just had to execute this kind of post-Imperial push, and it worked out very well.
Yeah, you've pretty much said it there in a nutshell, really. It's just been such a good game. ACCM and BacT are really just covering each other's sides there, exactly where they were starting to fall into lulls. The other player just basically pulled it up, got in there quiet and strong, and managed to push it through. But ACCM playing a fantastic game there overall. His defense, absolutely stunning. And then again, pushing it up into that Imperial, he was just unstoppable, basically steamrolling his opponents there.
Yeah, I mean, the Berbers have a great army composition to deal with this as well. I mean, the Berbers were the last pick of the game, so they had the advantage, I guess, with choosing them. And when you think about it, I mean, they counter everything. Lyx playing as the Persians, of course he's going to make cavalry. He's going to be going for the Paladins if he can get there. That's why you've got the Berbers heavy camels. Of course, Tim going to be going for the Mangudai. And if you're playing as the Berbers, you've got the camels, the camel archers. It counters them so well. So it was a great civilization choice for ACCM and BacT there. Nicely done by them reading into it. But game number 2, the shoe is going to be on the other foot. BacT and ACCM will have to choose the old civs, and we'll see what that turns out to be very soon. Let's just come out of the game. Oh, no, not out of the game. I think Nilpford has his analysis ready soon. Let me check that. Yeah. In 30 seconds, we'll throw it to Nilpford, and he can talk a bit more about the game. It's going to be cool to have Nilpford doing his analysis for this, because he's going to have more insight as well. He's going to see different things that we perhaps haven't seen, given how it's a 2v2. There's certainly a lot more going on than in a 1 versus 1. So, quick look at the stats. You can see ACCM there with a great KD in the end. Tim losing a lot of villagers in the end game. And even though BacT lost more units than he killed, I think he traded very effectively. And yeah, we're going to throw it over to Nilpford now for his analysis of that one. Enjoy.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here to Return of the Kings post-game analysis. Game number 1, BacT and ACCM against Tim and Lyx on Hideout. Pretty interesting stuff going on over here. Let's jump through some highlights we saw in this very game. First of all, the strategy choice of Tim and Lyx was, let's call it, questionable. So it was Tim going for double archery range at the front and Lyx going for stable at home. The big problem was here, Lyx at the same time wanted to wall at home, but could never finish his walls here. Look at that. He is knocking at the door, BacT that is, and he simply got delayed by only 30 seconds. So those walls were not very effective here, and yeah, I'm a bit disappointed actually that Lyx tried this waltz and not very nice. But on the other side, his knights really did the damage, and he with only 2 knights killed 2 mangonels, which was super important for the expo goal, because Tim was going for expos and mangonels, which can easily get countered by knights. But yeah, then we had Tim running around, but let's see how BacT did shut that down. Big mangonel shot, and we had ACCM coming over as well. So that run around was completely denied, trying to go to the next enemy, because your guy who you tried to push was walled. And at the other side, we just 2 minutes later had BacT going for the big push here, getting the castle down, forcing so many villagers off the eco, even killing some villagers, converting them, putting down the eco, and That was just so bad here for Tim. Lost so much ego, got denied, and yeah, that was just very unfortunate for him. The big point here was, in my opinion, at this very moment, maybe like 24 minutes, the walls were shut down and we had Lyx taking maximum damage at home, needs to repair the TC, needs to put up mass towers, has like endless amount of villagers and stone back home. And at the same time, we have Lyx and Tim actually trying to put on some damage here against ACCM, but completely failed. ACCM is fine. We saw those crossbows not doing anything, and therefore ACCM could go for the big boom, and Tim, kind of was going for it, but then got denied later on by the double. But how could they have prevented this? I think the main problem here was that Lyx was building his stable at home. They really needed to have the aggression here, mangled out and crossbows. They can do a lot of damage, but they can easily get out countered by a single mangonel like ACM reacted. Therefore they needed the knights, but look at that. He was producing the knights from home. He was sending a villager, I believe, or where is he? I'm not really sure. I think he sent a villager at one time, but the knights simply came too late. Therefore ACM could never take real damage. Lyx was dying at home, and BacT and ACCM snacking the first win for themselves here. Very entertaining game, I have to say, and yeah, I'm excited to see more. Back to you guys. BBQTurkman is back with ZeroEmpires.